Welcome back, salty smugglers. You didn't vote for me, but I'm your Mayor Matt. Today I'm here to do a review of this amazing Precon deck, Aggressive Negotiations, for Twin Suns! In the Aggressive Negotiations deck, you get to play Anakin Skywalker and Padme Amidala. Be ready to play a lot of small units, because that's kind of the theme of this entire deck. So, being Twin Suns, you have two different leader abilities, right? So you've got Anakin Skywalker, whose ability essentially is when you play two or more units, one of those units that you played, you can put a shield on it. What's really neat about that is Padme riffs off of the exact same thing. So you can play your units, your two units that turn, you can tap her, and guess what? You get to attack with that unit, even if it's already exhausted. So you might have just played it, it's exhausted, you throw a shield on it with Anakin, you attack with Padme, so there's really no damage done. The key to this deck, though, is to keep playing two units every turn. So you're gonna go wide. Why is that a problem? You're gonna become the threat. Regardless of if you're doing 1 damage or 30 damage in a turn, they're gonna look at your deck and see 4, 5, 6 units and think that you're the threat, even if you can't do any damage at all. Other things that are featured in this deck, there's plenty of Restore, plenty of Sentinels, and we all know that we love Sentinels, right? On the flip turns, so Anakin gets to flip on 5, and when he flips, he basically has the same ability, but instead of having to have 2 units down, it's just an on-attack trigger. On 6 resources, you can deploy Padme, and she has her same thing as well, where you get to attack with a unit that could already be exhausted. There's a lot of tricks in this deck, a lot of tricky units, and a lot of synergies that go back and forth. There's certain cards in here that allow you to ramp, and before you know it, you can play your second leader before everybody else gets an opportunity to play, because they've already taken the blast, they've taken initiative. They're done, but guess what? You're not, and you're just gonna keep attacking and attacking. The Executioner's Arena has an ability, and for every leader that you have deployed, you can do 2 damage to a unit. Doesn't seem like a lot, but if you think about it, the 3 damage from a previous base, Tarkin Town, you get to do it twice. So you could essentially do 2 on 2 different units, or all 4 on 1 unit, potentially taking out a bigger threat. An absolutely amazing card in this deck is Coleman Trebor. Now, again, if you're going by the lore, he's the guy who jumps up and then Jango Fett just blasts him off the edge and he's dead. However, for this particular unit, he comes in hidden, and he has a one played trigger, which is deal 1 damage to each enemy base. That alone is pretty cool for a 1-cost unit. However, for every damage that you've done to the base using this ability, you get to heal that. So you can deal 1 point to everybody's base and heal 3 from yours. Another great card that's in this deck is the 501st Veteran. Now, we were fortunate enough to be able to do a spoiler on this one, but it is great. It's a 0/4, 2 cost that has grit, raid 1, and as long as it's not damage, is a Sentinel. 2 cost, Sentinel with all of the other trimmings. It's absolutely amazing. You also get a new little R2-D2. Everybody likes R2-D2. I know I do. A 2 cost, 1/3 with raid 2, who has a when played. You may deal 2 damage to a base. If you do, that person gets to draw a card. Now, you think, oh man, I'm going to do 2 damage to their base, I'm going to let them draw a card. The politics of this game is what can be really cool with this. So you could say, hey, whoever wants this card, I'm going to do 2 damage to your base, and kind of politicize it a little bit, maybe make a buddy, as we kind of try to do here and there. However, with all the Restore you have in this deck, go ahead and let it damage your base and get your own card, because you're going to need a lot of cards, because you're going to be playing a lot of cards, and you want to keep playing 2 cards per turn. Another interesting card that comes in this deck is the Jedi General. Now, it's a 5 cost, a little more expensive than some of the other cards in this deck, and it's only a 2/3 on its own. However, it comes in with Ambush, and when played, for each Republic leader you control, right? So you play it later in the game, hopefully you have both your leaders out, you create a Clone Trooper token and give an experience token to it. So you're gonna have 2 3/3 Clone Troopers, as well as the 2/3 unit that you played down. So you're just going wide. There's a little bit of ramp built into this deck, which is great. You want it because you do want to ramp. You want to get your leaders out as soon as possible. But there's a really neat ramp in this one, and I believe it's in some of the other ones as well. It's called Galactic Escalation. It's 2 cost, and everybody gets to play the top card of their deck as a resource. It doesn't seem like it might be the greatest thing because you're giving everybody else the resource too, but because you're going so wide and taking so many turns, you wait till everybody else exhausts all of their units and uses all their resources, and then you play that card, and then maybe you get to deploy your leader, which is pretty cool, especially because once you play that second leader, especially in this deck, they're bouncing off of each other and doing far more attacks, and that's basically where you catch everybody off guard. Some of the other cards that come in this deck are oldie but goodies, right? U-Wing Reinforcements. It's a 7 cost. Look at the top 10 cards of your deck, and you get to play up to 3 units with a total cost of 7. It's Chef's Kiss. That is, if you get to play that card, it's great. You're almost always going to be playing 3 cards. There's so many Sentinels in this deck. You might be able to play 2 Sentinels in this deck. And again, even if you don't have a Sentinel, your leaders might make somebody into a would-be Sentinel. And it's just amazing. For those of you who had a hard time, completing your sets, it's got Poe Dameron. That's amazing, because you have all this stuff going on, and you go ahead and go, I'm gonna do 2 damage to this, and I'm gonna kill this, and I'm gonna do all the things. And again, he's just a big beefy boy that does his job. He's an oldie but a goodie. Now comes the part where we talk about what I would do to change this deck. Now, it's got plenty of restore, check. Plenty of Sentinels, check. Does not have a ton of space. So if you play a deck that's space heavy, you might have a little bit of trouble with this. There are a few things that allow you to plink away and do things, but if somebody gets a big beefy unit in space, you're gonna have some trouble. Some things that I would add to kind of add to that and give you just a little bit more longevity are the classics, right? Redemption, because there's a good chance you're getting to that resource. Lando Calrissian, right? The ability to heal off of him, absolutely fantastic. And you might want to throw a couple of other restore cards in there or just straight heal cards. That's normal Twin Suns play, but in this deck, that's some of the only things that I would recommend. There's not a lot of big top end, so if you want to put some big bombs in there or some things that can have some synergy, the new Ben Solo would be pretty rad in this deck, to be fair, to be able to ready a unit. Pretty cool. I would definitely include that. It's expensive, sure, but again, if we're talking big bombs, that would be great. Also, throw Crate Dragon in it, because I mean, with all of the ramp and the tokens and the different things that might come about, who knows? Because if you can actually get that down, it doesn't mean you win, but it just means everybody suffers for it, and that's great. So in closing, I would basically say this deck is pretty awesome. It's very well built. It's very balanced. It does its thing, and it does its thing well. I want to take a second to thank Fantasy Flight Games for giving us this opportunity to actually review these and play these. We really appreciate it. We had a blast. And I've got some great news. We're actually giving this deck and all 4 Twin Suns Precons decks away. There's an opportunity for you to get it. All you have to do to potentially win this deck or one of the other 3 decks is comment on the video, whoop, 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 which deck you're most excited for. But wait, there's more. If you want a bonus entry, join the Discord and check the TS26 giveaway channel. All you have to do is give it a thumbs up. That's it, a thumbs up, and that will give you a second entry into the drawing. And make sure you're subscribed to the Salty Smugglers so you don't miss the winning announcement on May 11th. So get out there, like, subscribe, all the fun things that go along with YouTube. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for being you. Hope you enjoyed. And all I have to say is, Twin Suns!